Welcome to online to this webinar about don't pitch but sell. Actually, this has been don't present but sell, but I think this don't pitch but sell is even better title for this topic. So I have decided to change the title, but I believe that the content itself is exactly the same. So welcome and let's go. So when we are waiting other people to join this session, I really recommend you to follow Seidat in social media. Actually, you can't see what I'm showing here, so it's maybe better to start again. Now it's better. Yes. But when we are waiting other people to join this webinar, I really recommend you to follow Seidat in social media. We are really active in LinkedIn and in Instagram mostly, something also in Facebook and Twitter. And all content what we are creating, they are stored in YouTube, so that's the place to visit. May I present myself? I'm the CEO and the founder in Seidat. I have founded several companies and done sales from the time when I was a little kid. And I started my sales career doing sales from door to door. And then I have been working in markets and also done all kind of sales for professional services now more than 20 years. So it has been a long period of time. But to be honest, I have never been, my title in my real professional career has not been ever something sales related, but for some reason I have been mostly responsible of that. And this is the background where I'm coming from. Today, we concentrate to this topic, don't pitch but sell. We have several topics on our agenda, but I have also something else about sales and sales-related topics. But of course, we must think about what kind of sales meetings there are included in the sales process typically. And what is the role of sales presentations in that kind of meetings, and what happens before the meetings, after the meeting. And when we are discussing about sales presentation, it's always important to discuss about visuality and what kind of content there is, what kind of content possibilities there are. And of course, the main idea of this webinar is to give you tips how to boost your sales results. We have live chat open all the time, so please send comments, questions. It will be really interesting to have some kind of interaction between me and you, so that the more we have interaction, more I can answer to your ideas, questions, and I believe that this will be much better if you ask me something. And we will record the meeting, so if there is if you want to share this later to your colleagues, it will be possible. After the webinar, we will send you this recording. Actually, if we think about sales and developing sales results, what is the main goal for this webinar? I must ask you, do you avoid sales work, or is there some people in your organization who behave this way? Because if we check more detailed about all kind of researches, we can see that only 37% of time which people are working is spent in actual sales actions. And 42% of salespeople don't make their quotas. 65% can't find content to send all kind of sales material what they could send to their prospects. And salespeople on average level will spend 13 hours per week for searching and creating all kind of sales content. And all that tells the story that there must be people who are not so interested about sales work itself, but do something else. Maybe they think that it's sales related, but not the actual sales itself. But what is sales? What does it mean to sell? I think it's always important to ask yourself also, what does it mean? For me, sales is problem solving. It's trying to find a solution to needs and challenges what my customers have, and at the same time is some kind of customer service, but from this different perspective than real customer service. Because if I'm doing sales, I have my sales goals, which I try to reach. So there is always some kind of commercial activity or goal behind the action of sales. And I think when you are doing successfully sales, you must be always thinking about how to help your customers to succeed. And if you think about from process perspective, what is sales about? It's some kind of process where you have maybe calls, you have remote meetings, maybe face-to-face meetings, and in the end of the process there will be deal closing, and you want to close a winning deal. And today we are concentrating quite a lot about to this process point of view, and of course meetings, because in meetings we use quite heavily presentations, and there are many ways to do that. I think there are wrong ways and there are correct ways, and let's try to understand that more detailed. During the last weekend, I was in one educational event about sales and marketing, and there was really interesting presentation which was done by Finnish guy, researcher Jyrki Suomala, and he was telling about buying brains. When you are selling something, there is a buyer, and your goal should be that you do some actions so that the buyer's brains make a decision that now we want to buy this. And he told that there is this kind of influencing the desire network in brains, which consists of the person itself, so me. It's connected to thinking about what we are. If you are selling to be in the B2B world, you are selling to some kind of business, and the buyer is thinking the business as we. Then he has his own feelings, he has his knowledge about the topic, he has his own goals, senses, and he's thinking about differentiation. Is this something what could help us to differentiate? Is this product differentiating from the competitors, and so on? We will have a more detailed webinar together with Jyrki Suomala in next year. So please wait for that. But I think this thinking of buying brains is really important when we are discussing about sales meeting, pitching, presenting, and doing active sales. Because if you think about how to impact your sales results, I can say that the real place to do that is in the front line of sales. In those situations when you are interacting with your customers, I mean meetings, I mean also phone calls, all kind of emailing, messaging, that kind of actions where you interact, you tell your story, you ask questions, you try to understand what is the need, what are the challenges, what your customer has. It's not happening in back office work where you are filling CRM forms and telling what is the problem and so on. It happens here in front line, in the interaction, and I think that this message, don't pitch but sell, is really important. Typically, when we go to the meeting, we have some kind of agenda, and I try to find from net something what people think about what kind of agendas there should be, and typically it's something like that there is a demonstration part, customer survey, need and goals step, presenting solutions, and discussion about next steps. Some people include also preparation and follow-ups and use a little bit different kind of way of telling the content. But if we think about this kind of agenda, we can also ask, is this something how brains is made to make purchase decision? And I think at least that, of course, we can have that kind of steps, but the real thing what happens in sales is between those steps what we put to agenda. And that interaction, discussion with customer is really important. If you think about the discussion is one of the most important things, and understanding those customer needs and giving them solutions, then we can maybe ask sometimes, why should we then use all kind of slide decks in sales? What is the reason? Why should we use them? Is it the reason that the sales director says that you must follow those slides and run your sales meeting using them? I don't believe that there is never that kind of reason in reality, because based on researches, what we have studied is that if you think about discussion and communication itself, if we rely only on speech, I speak you something and you listen. If I don't use any other ways to communicate, based on researches, the receiver will understand only 10% of that message, and it's not too much. If you can use bullet points or whatever to help you to communicate the message, then it's 2 times more, so it's 20%, but still it's quite low level understanding. But when you can use some kind of visual elements, like this kind of visualization, the understanding goes up to 80%. And this is really big reason why you should use some way to visualize the idea what you are selling. So visual materials will help people to understand. They learn much more faster, and they will get much better learning results. There are many kind of researches. I'm not so interested if these numbers are exactly 10, 20, and 80, because all of those researches tells mostly same story, that using visual materials will help you to communicate and will help you to people to understand what is your message. And that's why I see it that way, that if you have a really good slide deck, it can help you to make some kind of wow feeling to the meeting. It can support you to tell the message. And of course, this presentation deck must be built that way that it allows you to interact with your customers. I many times tell a story about how I see the presentation. It should be like a campfire. At least myself, I really like to visit with my family and friends around the campfires and sit there, maybe cook something and have a discussion. And if you have a really perfect presentation, it should work same way. You gather with your customer around this presentation like you gather around the campfire, and it helps you to discuss. And it should be the goal of the presentation itself. And that's the reason why you should use presentations. And then comes question, what kind of slide decks are needed in sales? My answer to this question comes from this other question, what are the typical sales steps? So if we think about the sales process itself, starting from lead generation, from contacting stage, then to the first meeting, what happens after the meeting? There is maybe several meetings and actions between those meetings. To the end, when you are joining to closing meeting, you have a proposal with you, and you will present that to your customer, and then in the end you will sign the contract. I think that most of us will agree that the typical sales process goes this way. This is a little bit simplified, of course, but mostly it has this kind of steps. And if you think about where we can use presentation decks, where we are presenting, pitching, it happens on several steps. And now I'm trying to go through most of those steps where you can use presentations and how you could use and what kind of goals you could have in those steps, and how to build good pitch deck or slide deck, whatever you call it, to those steps. I'm starting from the introduction part. And the introduction itself, it's something that you must try to make the person open his eyes, open his ears, trying to make him think about. It must include some kind of wow feeling, and then you must try to tell how could this product what you are selling, how it could be valuable for you, which is this to your business, what kind of challenges does this solve, how to proceed from here, from this this situation when you send the introduction, is there some kind of call to action, for example, to book a meeting? And this material should prepare the client for the meeting. And for example, how we do that is that we use quite a lot. We send a material, what is Seidat shortly. Then
Seidat's presented to you in an innovative matrix structure. Take meetings to a new level.
We have this kind of content where we include, for example, videos which where we are telling the story more detailed. We include to intro materials this kind of calendars so that people can easily continue the discussion with us. Maybe we embed some kind of chatbots. This is in Finnish, but also this is interesting way to do things, that embed interactive content inside the material what you share as an introduction to your customer. Maybe you can collect more information about their challenges. So introduction material, it's done for preparing the client. It's not done for presenting it. And then comes a meeting. What is typically one of the most important part of the sales process itself. And in that meeting, if you think about shortly, what does it mean? I see it that way, at least, that in a meeting you must share some kind of positive energy. This is something what we want to solve together. It must be very interactive. There must be decision makers. You must find those challenges what your customer have, and you then must be able to tell the solution, what kind of product, services, what kind of rollout processes you are running. Do you have guarantees or whatever? What is the total full solution what you are offering? About the, of course, discussion about the benefits, references, and I think that references, it's much more than logos, what I see too often. It must be some kind of case story, how you have been able to solve this and that kind of challenges earlier. And in those meetings, if you are selling some kind of digital tools, it's of course important that you give an opportunity to test it. And the whole idea of the meeting is to match the need and the solution so that the buyer's brains go to the idea that we must have this kind of solution. And if you think about the structure of typically sales meeting, typically it starts from the introduction, clarifying customer needs. So what is the problem, what should be solved, and what kind of solutions there are? What are the options? What is your solution to your customer? How will you solve the problem, and why exactly you should solve that? Why to select your business to product or service provider? What kind of references you have? How this process will continue after this meeting, and what are the next steps? I have built this model to the structure of the presentation, and this is something what I really want that you think about. I can easily remember one situation when I was selling our solution to our customers, and before that session, I have had a meeting with the CEO, and the CEO was thinking that absolutely this is something what our business and our salespeople need. Then we organized another meeting, and in that meeting, one sales guy presented himself and he was very honest and asked us that why we are sitting in this meeting. Because now we are discussing about presentations, but we don't have any time for using presentations in a meeting. We don't have time to pitch. I said for him that don't pitch at all. If you use any time in a meetings, 1 minute, 2 minutes, or whatever, please stop that. Because in sales, it's not ideal that you start pitching and showing some kind of company presentations and that kind of things. What I recommend is that you must interact with and discuss with your customers. And then we continued. It was a little bit interesting feeling in a meeting. What do I mean? Because I'm selling a presentation solution for them. And then we continued. It was about half an hour meeting, and in the end of the meeting, exactly that sales manager said, "We need Seidat." And it was, of course, I felt myself as a winner in that game and in that meeting, and it was a really interesting discussion, because in that meeting we discussed exactly about this slide, and the discussion was that presentation, it's not some kind of demonstration in the beginning of meeting or some part of the meeting before the real discussion. And how we see this kind of things is that, for example, how I have put here, clarifying the customer needs, what we and many of our customers, how they use presentation, they use this kind of slides. That, for example, we can, for example, in a meeting ask from our potential customer that, how do you use materials during in sales? And we may have this slide on screen at the same time. I don't ever tell what is on the slide, but the people, they are reading and they are thinking about, and when I ask them, then they start answering to the question. And they see that, okay, training, onboarding, proposals, and so on. And they think about, and I can get much better answers when I'm using this kind of slides, which helps people to answer to my question. Because, for example, if you think about presentations, for example, people are too often thinking about only meeting itself. But presentations can be used on several ways. They are many times shared to customer. It's not only meeting, it's also tool to share the content. And it's the tool what people will use when they internally sell their idea, what they have seen in a sales meeting to their colleagues. And that's why it's important to think about this need survey, also one kind of step where also I really recommend to use presentation. And when you have this kind of really large master presentation with this kind of matrix structure, what we are using typically, you can have some kind of elevator pitch level here. And if you have several products and solutions, you can have many columns about that. And based on the need of the customer, you can use presenter view and you can adapt to the discussion, navigating using this presenter view exactly the same way as the discussion goes. So you don't have exact pitch deck what you will follow step by step and push to your audience, but you will have a tool which you use to have a better discussion. And it is exactly the idea what I really recommend to think about in a meeting. When they ask for reference cases, then you can open one reference case and tell how well you have helped them to develop their business, how much have you saved time, and so on. And when they ask about how you help them in this and that, then you may have a visualization where you can tell, for example, that okay, you may have this. We tell it that way, that okay, you may have marketing and branding people, you may have product managers, sales concept developers, sales teams, and how they build presentation. It goes step by step from marketing to product managers, then business verticals. They build industry-related reference cases, for example, and then sales reps are tailoring materials for customer needs. And this kind of visualizations which help you to tell the story and build the argumentation, they help you to communicate what you sell, and then when you have that material, you don't need to go to the whiteboard or use your hands to explain what is the idea of your concept, but you can jump to your solution part and find the good visualizations and use those to explain how your product and service is running and how your product and service is helping your customer to develop their business. Then after the meeting, as I said, you maybe once again build a material what you will not present to your customer, but you will share it for them. You can build a memo presentation using exactly those slides which you have been using in sales meeting, and build this memo like a tool to your buyer, which they can use to sell the idea to their colleagues. And this is something what I haven't been understanding earlier, but when I understood the role of the memo presentation, my sales results went up. And typically how we are, for example, building this, and what I recommend is to give some introduction, what you have been discussing, what is the solution, what you have been presenting in a meeting, what is the problem, what that solution is solving. And whenever you have a possibility, build some kind of ROI calculators and that kind of content which helps them to play and discuss themselves. Okay, we have maybe 100 salespeople, and the return of investment if we start using this kind of tool is this big, and the costs are about something like that. This kind of tools which helps them to discuss and find new ideas why they should buy your solution, they are really important in this kind of materials. Also, if you have a clear pricing concept, you may build this kind of pricing calculators, and then they can think about, okay, in this case we had this 100 people, the price will be something like that. They can prepare for the next session where you are building the real proposal, and in that proposal you can once again reuse those content what you have used in memo. What is the need, what you are trying to solve, what is the benefits from the product you are offering, what is the total solution, what kind of products, services, what is included, what is the price, what is the rollout schedule, what kind of references you have. And once again, you have clear presentation about the pricing, about the rollout, about the service, what you are providing, and how the whole process will go. And then when you present that in a meeting, it's easy with this kind of visualization to go that proposal through, and maybe, for example, in our case, it happens very often that, okay, then we try to adjust something. Okay, you proposed it this way, the price will have this kind of price tag, but maybe we should do this and that changes and the price will change. But the more you have this kind of content which helps you to have a good conversation with your customers, it helps you to close deal. What I also recommend to include to proposal is all kind of next steps, links to your services, how you can get, for example, files from your customer, and again use those ROI calculators, references. And what I also see very important, if you have a good solution creating proposals, you can get all the time notifications when your customer is opening those proposals. What has happened many times for us is that we have been selling something to our customers. We have had the proposal meeting. After that, we have had discussions. They maybe say that maybe not today. We are interested about the solution, but maybe later. Of course, we could do, and if you have done that, if you will find yourself in that kind of situation, you could always ask, have I done everything correctly? But the game is not totally lost, because what I recommend is to use that kind of tools where you can get notifications when your customer will open that proposal later. It has happened several times for us that the customer will open that proposal after 6 months, for example. And at least our salespeople, they are thinking that, okay, because what they opened the proposal again, I lost the deal 6 months ago, but now they are thinking about the topic once again, and then they call. And this kind of tools will help you to close much more deals, and from that perspective, it's really important to think about what kind of tools you are using to create those proposals. How do you present them, and what you can get out of them? I will jump to the next topic, a little bit more out from the process perspective to building wow feeling, building this kind of feeling what Jyrki was explaining, how to make brains make the buying decision. And as he told, and as he is telling in his book, is that the feeling is really important part of the buying decision itself. And if the feeling is important part, it's very important that you you have a content, you have a presentations which you can use, and they are helping you to build this kind of wow feeling. So how to change the presentation to the direction where it can be some kind of experience, high-level experience of interaction. And I think that visuality is, as I have said also earlier, it's very important part of that, how to build great presentations. I have here one example of that, and this is from our customer MSK Group. It's a very industrial heavy company. They are building cabins for tractors and all kind of big machines. And this was the presentation what they were presenting earlier. And then we had a discussion and tried to think about how they should build those presentations, and we helped them to build better ones. And then we had make them this kind of look and feel, really nice images, icons, a little bit less text, and very high quality feeling. And if you think about building wow feeling, it's easy to think about, is this old one or new one better? And I think this is underlining a little bit this my idea that what I see too often still today is that companies have this kind of presentations. The visual quality is not what it could be. And if you have that kind of situation, I really recommend to do something for it. And if you can then combine this visual part to storytelling, then you are building once again much stronger feeling and wow effect. And what I have learned, all kind of stories, they make the whole meeting memorable. Typically, if you ask after the meeting from your colleagues or customers or whoever, what they can remember from that session, it is story. And here I have one example, only one slide, which can be built a little bit differently. This is typical way to build, for example, cover pages to presentation. You have a brand color, and over that you put a logo. You can develop it adding some image which is maybe telling about we are from Nordic countries, and this kind of northern lights are one kind of symbol of Nordic countries. And if I put this kind of image behind the logo, there is a more strong story already. But then if I add something like what we are offering, presentation solution, it's more concrete, and it's more towards sales. I have changed also the image a little bit more crazy. You are doing sales in the eyes, and then I go to the next level and give a stronger pitch, make every meeting a success. But if you think about the slide itself, it can be exactly same slide. Here it's only a logo, and here you have a really strong image together with short story, make every meeting a success. And I think that this is the way to do it. It's not something very hard work. It means that you must think about things a little bit differently but every one of you can do it. One way also to build this kind of wow feeling is to enrich the content. Use different kind of content options. Typically, what we recommend to our customers is, of course, when you share the content, then we recommend to use videos inside the presentation, because the video itself, on the video, maybe you yourself can tell the story, and then it's more concrete. It's not only some images and text, but there is a person who is telling exactly the story. If you are selling some kind of three-dimensional entities, products, maybe you could use this kind of content which you can browse and rotate and scale and go inside and think about, okay, this is something what we are selling, and it's much more concrete, and it can help you to build all kind of wow feelings. It's much more easier to sell a product and show that, okay, it's the details are like this, and then you can go deeper. You can also embed all, as I have been showing earlier, all kind of calculators built. It's helping to tell the return of investment easily. It's an easy way to do it. And then the question, why not if you can do it? So for many kind of content, may you have a PDF drawings or documents which you can embed to the presentation. If there is a really detailed information, why not to embed those documents to your presentation? It's not always a good way of using time to move them to directly to the presentation, create a new presentation, if you have documents which are ready-made. So this kind of using many kind of content, I think it's very easy way to build this kind of wow feeling. So if I start to summarize a little bit, and I see actually that there is no questions during this session. So if you have any questions, please use the chat, because if you maybe have any ideas which have came to your mind, it's interesting to hear about that. And if you have questions, it's easy to answer now. But if you summarize the session, don't pitch but sell, and how to make better sales results, I think that the presentations, don't use them for pitching, but use them to stimulate the discussion. It should be the way to build better discussion, and use as much as possible all kind of visualizations, because when you use visualization, it's also really easy way to tailor the message exactly to your customers. What I have had many times discussed with our salespeople, with our customers, is that when you use this kind of, let's take one visualization. I used this visualization earlier, and it's a good example. But I can easily tailor this presentation exactly to my customer business whenever I meet someone. This is very generic, but it's easy to tell them that, okay, because you have this kind of product family and the other type of product family and third type of product family, I can easily tell them that, okay, this is the way how you could build your presentations in Seidat presentation platform. And this is, of course, only an example, but maybe in your business you have other kind of visualization needs, but use those visualizations, make them generic enough, but exact enough at the same time, so that you can tailor the message based on your customer business. And the better graphic designers you have, the better wow feeling they can build to your sales pitch. And I tell that also sometimes that way, that the presentation, what you are presenting to your customer, it can be maybe the first real content about your business when they meet you. And if you think about the customer journey itself, it must be going up all the time. So maybe they have checked your website, and many businesses are using quite a lot of money to build their websites, but they are not thinking about the presentation. But if you think about the presentation, it's the step just before the buying decision typically. And if you think about the buying decision, in that decision, everything must be so clear, so good looking, that the buyer will get really good feeling of your product and service. And that's why use enough time to develop your materials on the level where you can make easily the buyer's brain thinking that now I will make a positive decision and buy the service. I'm presenting Seidat, and because I'm presenting Seidat, I really want to also tell you shortly what is Seidat all about. Our mission is to enable winning sales flow. And as I have been explaining, we are supporting our customers on many levels, many steps on sales process, especially in meetings. But we also think that this kind of collaboration between inside the sales team, between sales and marketing team, between seller and buyer is something what is really important to have winning sales flow. We are offering sales presentation platform, but we are not only software business, we are also designing presentations, and we are training and consulting how to develop sales to the next level. Our platform, it is a cloud-based presentation platform where you can create presentation, you can use it for presenting, you can share those presentations using Seidat. And if you think about all kind of presentations tools, they have maybe similar kind of features, but it is important how we have built those. And it's something what we have built especially for sales and marketing needs. Because our platform is cloud-based, you can easily imagine how much it will help sales team to collaborate when all the content what sales is using is in one place. There is no anymore need to search where I have this and that material. They are all in one place. There can be your sales deck, company presentation, proposals, training materials, internal materials, everything in one place. So it's easy. Our platform is built that way that it's supporting really well face-to-face meeting. But today, when people are selling typically remotely, I think that that our tool is really well integrated to all kind of platforms, to Google Meets, Teams, Zooms, and so on. So where we have seen many times problems is that when customers are presenting to us, they have problems that they may have. They have two options. They see customer faces or they see the presenter view. But how we have solved this is that you can use Seidat presentations, you can see your customer faces in a meeting, and you can see also this presenter view where you can select slides, you can write notes there, and everything. So it's easy to concentrate to the discussion, like in face-to-face meeting, when you see your customer faces, you see your next slides, you can easily adapt to the discussion, and the customer sees really clear view of the presentation. We have built also our tool that way that it can be integrated to all kind of sales and marketing tools. We have integration to CRM system, we have integration to social media, we have integrations to all kind of analytics tools and many kind of content tools. So with CRM integrations, it means that if you are creating proposal, you can integrate your CRM, get data automatically from CRM to your proposals. So you don't need to create those proposals manually. You can automate the whole process. Social media integrations means that when you share the content to your customer, when they open the proposal presentation, it can be a trigger for social media campaign in Instagram or LinkedIn. And if you think about that kind of way of thinking, it will give you much more new opportunities than what you have maybe used before. And many businesses are also building all kind of dashboards for sales. And when you get the data from the usage, how you are using presentation, how your customers are browsing them, you can get much more extra data to your data dashboards, and it gives you much more opportunities to use that data. Our tool is also done that way that because it's cloud-based, it has several concepts how to keep all materials always nice looking, up to date, following your brand guidelines. When we create a new workspace, you can select exactly your brand fonts, your colors, and everyone will follow those. If your product and service has some new visualizations in Image Bank, you will only change one image, and the image will change to every presentation, to every slide where it has been used. You maybe have some figures about your business, numbers, how many people you have, how many customers. You can update them to one slide. Every sales reps can have their own presentations, but you update those numbers to one slide and it can be updated to every presentation by one click. For example, in our own workspace, we have some slides which has been used several thousands times. So one click and thousands of presentations are updated. iFrame is one technology which allows you to embed all kind of content. For example, Google Sheet charts, like this one. You only update the original content in Google Sheet, and the presentations will be updated. So if you have, for example, internally some forecasting about your business, then you can update them in Google Sheet or wherever, and the data will automatically come to your presentation. You don't need to update the presentation itself at all. This is all about what is Seidat, and if you really want to test it, start using it, you can go to our website, sign up to our platform app.seidat.com. There is a free trial. You don't need to put your credit card details, and it's easy to start using without any cost. And if you see that it is something what I really want to test, then contact our sales reps, and we absolutely want to help you. You have been subscribed to this session from our Sales Academy, but there I really recommend to check what kind of content we have there. We have also all our previous webinars there. There is many really interesting webinars. You can go there and subscribe to those, and subscribe to get the video of those webinars. It has many blog posts and so on. So please go there, learn more, and I really hope that in future we can meet, we can have more discussion, and I hope that this presentation, this webinar, have given you some ideas how to develop your sales process. Don't pitch but sell, and how to get better sales results. Thank you. It was really happy to be here together with you, and I hope to see you soon again in a meeting. For example, on our website you will have calendar links on our contact page. So please schedule a meeting and we can continue the discussion there. Thank you and bye.